This video is brought to you by LowVoltageGaming.com. Check out their website every week for new video game reviews. These days, I honestly wonder who at Lucasarts still has a soul and isn't made out of pure royalty checks. George Lucas came up with a fantastic idea for a weekend project, and upon the revelation of its titanic success, he realized, oh my god, I can milk this forever! The Star Wars franchise was hastily drowned in so much stupid gimmick-infested affluence that it has actually blocked up a black hole. Now, this is not a review on the current state of Star Wars as a franchise. Everyone already knows about its cancerous tumors that have by clinical standards killed the franchise's chances of redemption. But amidst all this disparity are a few good games, shining beacons of hope for Star Wars to regain its dignity. One of these is Star Wars Empire at War, an RTS featuring land battles, space battles, and no mention of midichlorians at all. This, I think, is a step in the right direction, and when the game showed off its cinematic camera mode, I was in need of a defibrillator because I was suffering from tachycardia. Story-wise, the game takes place before and during Episode 4, and you can play as either the Empire, who have decided to switch things up a little and actually hit their target, and the Rebels, who keep showing off that they have both the women in the galaxy on their team. The selfish pricks. The campaign utilizes a galaxy map feature that shows your planets, the opposing forces planets, neutral planets, and your resources and objectives. I quite enjoyed the first mission of the Rebel campaign. I had a squad of Corellian corvettes and I got to blow up satellites that were precariously surrounded by exploding barrels in space. The next mission, however, was a pain in the arse. I had to escort C-3PO and R2-D2. They operate as a single unit, which is good, but they are killed easier than Halo grunts. After the 5th try, I honestly couldn't handle the unskippable cutscene of C-3PO complaining and switched to the Imperial campaign. Oh my god, this is awesome! Not only were the levels entertaining because you get to terrorize cities and take over planets, but I got Darth Vader, which is a significant improvement from the Wynatron and Sensorbot 3000. Now it's time to talk about gameplay. Smooth functions at heart like most RTSs, except there's no base building. In a skirmish game, you start with all your buildings in one location and you must buy tech level upgrades for new units. You start out with stuff like stormtroopers and speeder bikes, which get quickly overshadowed by your AT-ATs, which are slow and expensive but give you a strong sense of pride. Unfortunately, the moment you build the AT-ATs, the Rebels send in their incredibly not overpowered superfast vehicular insta-killing flying machines that decimate infantry and circle around my AT-ATs with bungee cords until they collapse from dizziness. And then of course there's the artillery. The AI knows that the root of all success is to spam artillery tanks at me and kill all my units outside the protective bubble of swirly blueness. By hiding behind their swirly blue bubble and somehow firing outwards. I have no idea as to the science of this oh yeah, it's Star Wars. Logic has no place here. Granted that the normal AI could just be a better tactician than I am, but this was a bit steep and unbalanced. Does artillery even have a weakness? You can't touch it unless you get close enough. But between you is inevitably a gauntlet of enemies, strafing run, turbo lasers, George Lucas' script writing, and the blue swirly bubbly shield. Space combat is different. It's actually balanced and a lot of fun to watch. Instead of having to switch between loads of buildings that look the same to find the one unit you want to spawn, it gives you a single space station. Unlike the AT-ATs, when you get your first Star Destroyer, it comes packaged with a free seizure of happiness. Not to mention when you get an entire fleet of the things, then it's just too easy. So my favourite feature of this game is the previously mentioned cinematic camera, which basically turns the game into a movie. Petroglyph realized that you don't want to watch from top-down perspective when the cool battle scenes are going on, so they give you the option to watch through a camera that follows your spaceships as though it were a cutscene. However, this is a double-edged sword. In space it looks fantastic. On land it looks like a bunch of figures carved out of soap making a 12-year-old's claymation. The animations and land figures are pretty much all bad, which is one reason why I prefer space. It doesn't need animations and the ships are well designed. Now if you're one for balanced gameplay, you're probably going to complain at this. Conquering the galaxy with Super Star Destroyer is the second most unfair advantage the Empire gets. I'm assuming it's unfair to have a ship that stretches across the entire map. Oh, and did I mention you could get the Death Star? Well, I have now. It's the most unfair thing I've seen. It can't be destroyed and you don't even have to enter combat to blow up the entire planet. Good job keeping the game balanced, guys. It's about as balanced as a unicycle on an exercise ball bouncing across an ice lake. Now for the sound. It's obvious they put a lot of effort into the sound because it has loads of copy-pasted sound effects from Lucasarts' soundboard, and the music is just from the films and nothing else. So in terms of audio, it's as new and exciting as public transport being late. But don't take this as being bad audio. It's good to have sounds that are familiar to the Star Wars universe. It just wouldn't kill them to have something new. Overall, I must say I enjoyed this game. The balance issues can be resolved, though I doubt they will be, what with the game being 6 years old and already drowned in crap like Star Wars Connect and 1313, which nobody asked for, but we got it anyway. When LucasArts finally take their fingers out of their asses, I mean piles of money, and actually make good Star Wars games, then I'll be nicer to them. Until then, they can burn in hell with their Princess Leia sex dolls.